Generally, when we talk about project management, people start by discussing what is in terms of the content and context. But I believe that if you talk about that, content is king, but the context is the kingdom. And whenever I talk to people who are into project management or who wants to shift into project management, they always talk about, initiation process group or PM BOK or agile BOK, but they don't know why their organizations need project management and what is the reason that project management is growing. And for that specific reason, PMI has also adopted some stuffs into the project management concept and in the PMP. So with this, our session is all about how we are going to understand the myths about Agile, Scrum, and PMP. Interestingly, when you talk about the overall project management and we see how project management works, you need to understand not from the project management, you need to understand from the organization context. So I will be discussing first, all the myths, but before it, I will be talking about the organization needs. Then, more importantly, right now, initially people were saying that we need to go for PMP, so everybody was talking about PMP. Now, new fashion is Agile, so everybody is talking about Agile. But the key point is neither we need traditional project management nor we need Agile project management. We need to solve organization problem, and we have to see which methodology is actually going to help me to solve it. And finally, those who want to go for the PMP certification, those who want to go for the project management as a career, they must learn that how they can fast forward their career, how they can fast forward their growth through project management. So these are the three key aspects that I will be discussing one by one in this webinar. So without a further ado, let's jump into the first session where I'm going to talk about the organization challenges and how we can clear the myths about Agile, Scrum, and PMP. First of all, when I see the organization challenges and when I ask people what are the typical challenges that organization faces, some say, Asad, it's all about processes. Some says cash flow. Some says, adoption of technology. Some says, market uncertainty. But what I find out after doing a research that generally, if I have to classify the challenges that a typical organization face are sustainability challenge. They want to continue doing the business they are doing right now. Or the second challenge, they have the growth challenge. So let's suppose if your organization is going fine and they are earning year by year almost the same revenue. Now your organization leaders or your board members or CEO challenge is to grow your organization. So either your organizations wants to sustain their operations, sustain their existence, I must say, in the in the world, in the environment in which they are working, or they want to grow their business and they want to earn more money, more revenue, more value. And to achieve these things, the problem is why organizations are not achieving sustainability. The problem is why organizations are not achieving the growth they want to achieve. The problem behind that is one, and that one problem is uncertainty. Everybody don't know that what is going to happen tomorrow, what is going to happen day after tomorrow. So to tackle that uncertainty, we need to see how much project management, how much new businesses, how much new products we need to implement. So if I look at that thing, if I look at the organization or global context, every single organization is facing uncertainty. But it's up to us that either we use uncertainty as a advantage, or we become fair from this uncertainty and we try to hide behind the regulatory requirements and other. So if you need to see uncertainty, and if you need to see uncertainty as a you can say a tool which can help you to grow, then you need to use that uncertainty to create new products, to create new services. Because if you are not going to create new products or create new services or change the way you do business, then it means your existence is at risk. So technically, if as an organization I need to use uncertainty to my advantage, I need to compete with innovation. So every organization who wants to compete in the marketplace now, they cannot compete just by saying that my product has high quality, or they cannot just compete that my product has low cost. So competing based on price or competing based on quality is, I must say, it's 2 decades old story. Now you need to see how innovative you are. That is why everywhere in the world, and especially after COVID-19, every organization is talking about digital transformation. Every organization is thinking about launching new products, launching new services. So any organization who wants to stay current, who wants to compete, who wants to grow, who wants to sustain, they need to compete through innovation, number one. Number two, if they want to do innovation, what options they have? Either they are going to create new products, or they are going to create new services, or they are going to improve their processes, or they are going to go for digital transformation where they can attract their customers. So if your organization is going to build a new product, a new service, they are thinking of market expansion, they are thinking of merger and acquisition, they are thinking of building process improvement, or they are going for digital transformation, they all are projects. They are not the traditional operational environment. And the way you run your operational work is not going to work when you are trying to run the project. One of the biggest issue that I find out, working with multiple organizations, is they want to be innovative. They want to bring new products. They want to bring change, but they don't want to change the way they are doing the current work. They don't want to change the culture of their organization. They don't want to change the organization structure through which they are going to make decision doing things. So everybody wants to grow, but they don't want to follow the growth path. They don't want to follow the tools and techniques which will help them to achieve that growth and achieve that sustainability. So in a nutshell, if I have to see the organization growth challenges, so it's all the sustainability challenges. It's not basically that they don't know what to do. The biggest problem right now I have find out is that they don't actually know how to implement that change, how to bring that innovation in a real world, how to utilize right methodology, right framework, so that they can bring that change. So everybody is talking about one thing, and that one thing is product, or maybe that one thing is strategy. But if you are not seeing three things in a big spectrum, so three thing is, what is my strategy, where I want to play? Second thing is, what is my business model, how I am going to run the things within an organization, how I am going to engage stakeholders and customers, and then my operation model. So there are three things which you need to look at as one. And these three things are your strategy, your business model, and your operating model. So any organizations who wants to grow, any organizations who wants to sustain, they need to do lot of projects. These projects may be to implement strategy, to maybe to change their business model, or maybe to improve their operating model. So if your organization is going for anything, so let's suppose the organization is going to launch a new product, it means that is their strategy to go and compete with new product. Maybe a company is saying that I don't have a new product, but I need to improve my performance. I need to see how my operations are working. I need to see how I am going to do the things in a less time. So it means they are going to improve their operating model. They need to work on the technology adoption. Or maybe an organization says that I need to focus more on customer, because the environment in which I am competing, say a banking environment, so banks are competing with each other because they don't have new products to compete. So now they are competing for the purpose of customer acquisition, customer retention. That is why everybody is talking about customer experience. So when you go for creating a customer experience for your customer, it means you need to embark a new journey, and that new journey is project management. So your organization success previously depends on how well you run operations. Now your organization success depends on how you run your projects and operations. So you can't just depend on one area, and that one area was typically operational excellence. Now you need to see how you are excelling in operations, but as well as how you are excelling in project management and project. So it is clearly evident that you cannot run away from project. Every organization, be it an operational organization, say example, banks, operations, insurance, auto industry, manufacturing, or you can talk about government, those who were considered traditionally as an operational organization now needs to adopt project management. And they are actually working, to train their people to adopt project management, to do projects. But now when they identify that yes, they need projects, they need project management, they need to train their project managers, the problem starts from here. And that problem is which project management, how we are going to work for our project, what specific methodology we should go for it. And in the market, if you talk about project management, someone say go for traditional project management, or go for PMBOK, or go for PMP. Someone would say that go for agile project management. Now everybody was saying go for agile. And interestingly, someone would say that go for Scrum. And I have seen people, they are comparing agile versus Scrum. And I say, please, you need to understand that uh, agile is not a methodology. Agile is a mindset, and agile includes multiple methodologies. So Scrum is one methodology of agile, like XP, like Lean, like Kanban, like DSDM, ASD, SAFe, and more than dozen methodologies exist under the banner of agile concept or agile mindset. So number one point is agile is not a methodology. Agile is an approach, is a mindset. And to implement agile mindset, we need to use any methodology, which can be, as I said, Scrum, XP, Lean, Kanban, ASD, AUP, DSDM, SAFe. So they all are basically agile, but it's up to you which agile methodology or which combination of agile methodology you need to adopt for your project. So if you understand this thing, so it means we have a comparison between two concepts, two mindsets. One mindset is how we are going to use traditional project management, or I would call it a plan driven project management. And the second mindset is agile mindset, or should I call it agile mindset. So before going to understand the difference between the traditional versus agile mindset, we need to understand the problem. What is the problem with project management? Why we need agile, and more importantly, why we don't need agile? Because previously, as I said, everybody was talking about agile, everybody was talking about traditional project management, and everybody was talking about PMP. Now, if you talk about project management, everybody says, why don't go for Scrum Master? Why not we look for the Scrum certification? I said, hold on. It's not about which certification you are going for. You need to understand you are here not to do project management. You are here to solve an organization problem. An organization problem are growth. Organization problem are challenges. And for that, growth challenge, or for that sustainability challenge, they are going to implement any project. So first of all, we need to understand the project itself. The biggest problem is the problem that I find when I work across the organizations across countries, that people start from project management, and this is the wrong thing to do. That is why if you look at my slide, I kept project management in between rather than keeping it as a one source. So if you look at the whole game, what is the whole game right now? At one end we have a project, but unfortunately, as far as if we look at the standard definition of projects, like if you talk about PMI is saying that project is a temporary endeavor. So everybody is talking about project is time bound. So let's say if you look at my slide, I said 3rd February is the time bound when we need to provide the presentation. So it's not about that we are looking at project from that time bound perspective. We need to see project from different angles. But the biggest problem is whenever you go and you talk about project, everybody will give you a stereotype definition or the basic definition, which says project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result, and that's it. But you see, you are seeing project from the perspective of its end date, that when you are going to finish the project. And whenever you talk about project from the perspective of time, from the perspective of cost, from the perspective of scope, it means you are inward focused. You are only focusing on the internal aspects of the project. But But you see from the, if you see project from the outward perspective, then you have to see who is going to get benefit once the project is being delivered. What would be the end result for organization once the project is being delivered? So until and unless you don't see project from outside its time, cost, and scope boundary, you will not be able to achieve the result that is intended for. That is why when you go for project management, most of the time your project gets delayed. Most of the time during the project execution, you got new requirements. Most of the time your customer says this is not what we have asked for. Most of the time when you go for UAT and sign up, they said this is not what we have intended for. The reason is you saw the project from the perspective of time, cost, and scope. You did not saw the project from the perspective of the outcome, benefits, and organization objectives, because you did not, you never asked for it, or maybe your organization did not ever tell you that why we are doing this project. So first thing is, if you look at the first component, that component is project. You need to understand the project. Number one. Number two, what type of project we are doing. So let's talk about the type of project. Let's suppose I am doing this presentation. This is one type of a project. Let's suppose I need to do the same training in front of 1000 participants in some conference. So again, same presentation, but the model and the environment has been changed. So if I need to see this thing, I would say the project management that is required to run this webinar is different than the project management that is required to run the same content in front of 1000 participants in a conference room is changed. Same product, same output, but the way I am going to manage the project, the way I am going to run the project is different when we talk about the project. But unfortunately, as I said, how we are seeing the project, we are seeing the project from the perspective of time, that we need to deliver 1 hour presentation, but we are not seeing the project from the perspective of the context. So at one hand, we have a project. At the other hand, we have project manager, and we are saying that project manager, anyone who understand the project management body of knowledge, PMBOK, or understand the agile project management, they can deliver the project. But the biggest problem, if you look at all these three things, you will find out that at one end we have project, at the other end we have a project manager. And what we are saying, that if anybody, anyone who has X number of experience of X industry, if they can understand the project management body of knowledge, if they can understand the PMBOK, or if they can understand the agile concept, they can manage any project. So do you think this is some issue with this thing? Because the point here is, anyone can manage any project if they can read or understand probably PMBOK or Agile. So you need to switch between one, and this is the problem. First of all, project is no such anything. This project is not about timeline. Project is all about achievement, what you are going to get at the end of the day. So if you are not understanding the context of a project, if you're not understanding what project has to deliver at the end, then it means you will not be able to use the right project management skill. So if I use one classical model, there's a guy, who wrote a book called Reinventing Project Management, right? And he says that there is a syndrome in the market, and that syndrome is project is a project syndrome. So why project is a project syndrome? Because you're saying that it is a project, I need to implement project management, and I need to focus on time, cost, and scope. This is where the problem starts, because you are not understanding the project itself. So one project can be to implement or to enhance some functionalities. So let's suppose if you are enhancing some functionality, or you are adding something within an existing product, within an existing environment, that project requires less project management. And I will talk about what this less management is. Let's suppose your company is going to replace the old model and bringing in the new model. Let's suppose your company had some homegrown ERP. Now you are going for some Oracle or SAP implementation. Let's suppose your company was working in one environment, and now they need to shift to a new office. Maybe your company has ABC product which is based on old technology. Now you need to replace with the new technology. So the project which you were trying to do, which has just additional implementation, expectations, upgradation within an existing, needs less project management or different kind of project management, versus the project which needs to replace the old environment and bring the new thing, needs a different project management. Same way, the third thing is your company, your organization is going for something, some environment, some project, some initiative which has not been done previously. So you are doing a radical project, you are doing an innovative project. So how you're going to run the innovative project? Are you going to use the same set of methods, same set of methodologies, same set of processes to run your project? So the answer is no. So at one end, in a hypothetical way, we have three different types of project. You can say derivative projects where we are adding something on an existing environment, platform project where we are changing or replacing the old technology, old product with the new one, or the breakthrough project. So if these are three types of projects, then I need to see which type of project management is required. This is how it works. Number one. Number two. So if I this is all about project. Now I'm going to talk about project manager. So what everybody is saying, that if anybody can understand project management, if anybody can read PMBOK, can pass PMP, can pass Scrum Master, he or she can manage project. But the key point here is, the key aspect that you need to understand here is, what is your personality? So let's suppose as an individual, I consider myself innovative. I consider myself transformative. But as an innovator, as an experimenter, as a risk taker, if I am going to lead a project which is a more political, if I'm going to lead a project which needs to integrate with lots of workers, let's say construction project, let's say high rise building project, let's say an oil gas field project, where I need to make sure that everybody is working there, everybody is working in a safe environment, everybody is working on time, and they are following the procedure. So my innovative nature, my transformative nature is not going to work for it. So I need to adopt some bureaucracy, I need to adopt some the hard knowledge skills. So I need to use some transactional leadership style instead of a transformational leadership style. So it's not that you understand project management and you can manage any project. You need to see what type of leadership competency, what type of individual competency you need to use to build the project. I love a book which actually talks about leadership, and everybody talks about some strengths, that as a leader you must have these set of skills and these set of strengths or these set of competencies. But there's a book by Tommy Wire, and he wrote a very fantastic book concept is leadership Dubai style. And when I read this book, I said, what do you mean by leadership Dubai style? Leadership is leadership. So are you going to say leadership Dubai style, leadership American style, leadership German style? So the point is, because the context or the environment is different than others, the way you lead people, the way you monitor people, the way you control people, the way you get the work done from the people is changed here versus some other west countries. So same way, if you want to lead a project which is a construction project, you cannot lead or use the same methods, same skills, same expertise when you are leading a software project. Yes, project management in between is there, but you need to understand first the project, what is the project, and the second important thing is what specific competency, what specific skill, what specific expertise you need to bring into it. So once these two things are defined, then I can go and define and find the project management requirement for a project. So the tradition, so I'm reiterating it. The traditional problem is the problem that everybody right now is facing, that everybody is selling them, or lots of people are selling them, that as a project manager, if you read or if you go for PMP certification, if you go for agile certification, in which is in between. So what they did is they made it constant. So anyone who did the PMBOK, anyone who understand the project management can manage any project. And this line is a flawed line. So I'm reading it again for you. If you want to write it down, please write it down. Anyone with any experience, if they understand and read PMBOK or Agile, they can manage any project. And this is a flawed, I am saying it again, flawed concept. So you need to once at one end, you need to see what type of project you are going to manage. Number one. Number two, what type of skill you need to implement and you need to learn or practice by doing a project. Now, project management. as I know that I need to adopt different skills, as I know that I need to use different mindset, different tool for managing the project, same way I need to choose different project management methodology. So I cannot keep project management methodology constant. So I need to see based on my project need, which project management I want. Do I need a traditional project management? Do I need an agile project management, or do I need an hybrid project management? So in this slide, I just talked about the problem, and that problem was that everybody is keeping everything constant, and that constant was project from the perspective of time, person from the perspective of experience, and project management from the perspective of traditional agile. But they all are flexible, they all are dependent on each other, and you have to blend in, mix in, and see which specific project needs which specific methodology, and for to implement that project with specific methodology, which specific competency skill I need to build and do it. So if you cannot combine these things, then it means you are going for a sure shot failure, or you are going for a sure shot delay, because you are internally focused, you are looking at the project from the perspective of time, cost, and scope. Now, with this background, with this problem understanding, now we need to understand an opportunity that you can capture in this event. I'm not saying that go for the session, but what I'm saying is that you understand how the whole thing works together. So here is the answer. So if you look at the project management models, at one end we have a traditional project management model, and that traditional project management model talks about, and we can call it as a traditional project management, we can call it a plan driven project management, we can call it you can say scope specific life cycle. So you have multiple names for traditional, plan driven, predictive, scope specific. Then we have agile project management. You can say agile project management, you can say adaptive project management, you can say change driven project management, or you can say time froze project management. So when I say traditional project management, so right now, if you talk to people, everybody is talking about that PMBOK is not, working for us. PMBOK is not for this kind of a project, and we should move to agile. First of all, we need to understand two things. That one is doing project through agile is one concept, and changing your organization or transforming your organization as an agile is a different thing. So when I talk to people, people are saying we are going for agile. I said, what do you mean by you are going for agile? So I said, our company is going to be agile. So I said, if your company is going to be an agile, it's a separate thing. Or if your company is going to do a project from agile, it's a separate thing. So you need to keep these two things separate. If you are going to keep two things same, then it means you're not going to get the result. So based on our project need, we need to select, we need to define which project management we need to adopt. So let's suppose we have a traditional project management. Traditional project management and plan driven project management is good, where we can identify the scope, define the scope beforehand. So let's suppose if you are going for some road construction, if you are going for some building construction, if you are going for some, let's suppose, data center implementation, if you are going for say some BPR part of the thing. So if you are going to do things where you can define the scope before going to exactly do it, then traditional project management and plan driven project management is your answer. So you cannot say that after building 3 floor, I am going to say, can you change it that way? Can you can you change the design of the structure? No, you can't do it. You have to define the scope before going for the construction. Same for the engineering. You are setting up a plant, you can't say that, no, I don't need that size of plant, I need that size of plant, can you change the structure of the plant? No, you can't do it in between. You have to design it, define it, and then start doing the work on it. So whenever you are doing the project where scope is clearly identified, or you can say 80% is defined, and you have to design the product environment and then go for it, then traditional is your answer. But if you are doing a project where you have two types of uncertainties. Maybe one uncertainty is scope may be changing once you start the project. So let's suppose if we are developing a website, if we are developing a product, if we are developing some innovative product or process, I don't know what features I need, what results I need. I need one thing. I know one thing. As a management, I know that what is the end result I need to achieve. So let's suppose if I am going to build a new product, I would say I want to increase my revenue from 200 million dirhams to 500 million dirhams. I know what I want. I know that I need to increase from 200 to 500 million dirham. But what features, what functions I'm going to implement, it needs to be identified. Maybe the product I'm going to build is customers are going to buy it or not. Do customer have the adequacy or acceptance of this project or not? So there is an uncertainty in terms of accepting the product once it's done, right? So this is one type of agile. Second type of agile is we started a project and we don't know the features and functions we need. So it is a scope related uncertainty. So there could be two types of uncertainty: output related uncertainty or outcome related uncertainty. And for these kind of initiatives, we can go for agile. So you need to see, yeah, as I said, what type of project, what type of environment, what type of result we are going to build for it. So agile, so generally what you will find out that everybody is talking about what is agile. You need to go for a sprint, you need to go for time bound and 15-minute daily scrum. I would say these are childish things, to be very honest. These you can learn in 10 to 15 minutes. But the first thing, the first concept that you need to build is why you need agile. You need agile for those projects where you have uncertainty about either the features and functions what you will build within a project, or you have an uncertainty about the outcome that once it is developed, how many customers are going to adopt it, how many people are going to adopt it, how many revenue I'm going to generate from out of it. So maybe you need to use the agile concept. So whenever you are going for an initiative which is breakthrough initiative, so let's suppose your company is looking for ABC product, your company is going to launch a new service, your company is going to set up an office in a new country. You know what needs to be done, but do you know how many services, how much revenue exactly you will get once you are going to do this thing? No, you don't know it. Then what approach mindset you need to adopt? Agile mindset you need to adopt. So all our initiatives, all our time bounded initiative, you have a specific timeline to do, you have a specific timeline to achieve it. But the way you are going to implement the project, the way the method that you are going to use to do the project should be agile. So traditional is not answer for all type of projects. Agile is not also the answer for all type of project. So we need to understand my organization need. I need to understand the project type and then select traditional versus agile project. And in some cases, let's suppose where you have lots of stakeholders and you have multiple people to interact with it, and then you have conflicting requirements. So you see, this is the criteria. So people have conflicting requirements. People, you have to interact with multiple people, and then you need to do the project. So what should you do? Go for hybrid model. Gather the requirements, because when you are gathering the requirement, when you are collecting the requirement, somehow everybody gives you what they want. But when you show them the result, that this is what we have developed, this is what we have built, they have different concerns. They say, this is not what I said, this is not what I meant, this is not my assumption, you did not understand my point. So if you have this kind of environment where power, politics, and scope is variable, then go for hybrid model. Because hybrid model helps you to understand and document the project first, so that you understand the whole context. But rather than developing the whole product and giving them as one end result, it's not going to work for you. What you need to do is show them in piece by piece, show them in iteration by iteration, so that whatever their confusion is, whatever their assumptions are, whatever their expectations are, they should be met. You cannot go for pure agile when you have conflicting requirements, when you have a large project, when you have multiple power and politics in play. So in this context, you are not looking at the project management itself. You are looking at the environment in which you need to work for the project. That is why when PMI changes the PMP exam now, previously PMI talks about five things. It says you have to go for the exam in terms of initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, controlling, and closing. And everybody was talking about IPECC, initiation, planning, execution, controlling, closing. But then PMI says no, we are making people inward about time, cost, and scope. And they say that, and they develop a new model which we call it triple constraints for project managers or talent triangle for project manager. And they define it that project manager should understand the strategy and environment in which project is being done, number one. Number two, project manager should understand the technical value of a project. Technical does not mean how it works. Technical means risk. Technical means how you do the project planning. Technical means which project life cycle you are going to implement. So this is the second aspect. And the third aspect is which leadership style, which leadership competency you need to build. So let's suppose I am doing a project which needs to interact with 10 people who are sitting together and we are building a product. I need more coaching, I need more mentoring, right? But let's suppose if I'm doing the same typical project, but I have to interact with 50 people, three different locations, and two different countries. So I don't need coaching and mentoring. I need conflict management, I need negotiation, I need decision making, I need problem solving. So I need to adopt myself first based on the project need and see which specific life cycle is going to help me. So the biggest problem that I see traditionally right now when you talk to any project manager trainers, they don't talk about these two factors, which are variable factors, project and the project manager. They only talk about project management, they only talk about go for agile or go for traditional. But I would say this is one aspect of the whole game. So if you are missing the rest two pieces, then you are not actually able to deliver the whole project. So if you want to select which project management you should go for it, one way is to select through complexity of the project. Complexity means how many variables are dependent on each other. So let's suppose if let's suppose you are going for implementing a IoT based project. Right now everybody is talking about fourth industrial revolution, everybody is talking about artificial intelligence. So if you are developing a product, if you are developing a technology which is based on AI, which is based on IoT, which is based on robotics, where you don't know how you are going to work into it. You don't know how technology will unfold. You don't know, what specific features and functions you will implement to get the end result. Then go for agile. Then the answer is agile for you. But let's suppose if you are going to implement a data center, if you are going to implement a module within an IT, which is basically specific and you know that how it works, then go for traditional. Let's suppose if you're going for construction, you're going for power plant making, if you're going for any energy project, if you're going for power plant setup, you know, go for traditional model. That's good. No harm to do this thing with traditional project management. Now I'm seeing that everybody is saying, no, we need agile. So maybe so let's suppose if you're developing a 10-kilometer road, after developing or after constructing 3 kilometers, you say, hold on, now I need U-turn and I need to go from here to other. No, you're not going to do that. You have to identify what is the way of your overall construction and you build according to it. So as a traditional project manager, your challenge is how you are engaging the stakeholders, how you are managing the procurement, how you are making sure that people are working on time, and how you are basically going to make sure that the scope of the project is done as far as the scope is defined. So these are your challenges. But when you are going for the agile, your challenges are how to accept the changes. Your challenges are how to integrate the challenge thing. Your challenges are how to motivate people that the work that they have done, the software they have developed, the product they have developed needs to be thrashed out, and they have to do it again because the previous work is not accepted or the previous work needs to be changed. So if a developer or engineer made something, this somehow become be in love with the result they develop. So you need to tell them disengage for the product and go for the change and implement it. So here the skill that I need to implement, this methodology that I need to use is more about coaching, mentoring, guiding, right? And if I am going to do a project which needs to interact with multiple people, so let's suppose I am implementing a simple payroll application in one bank or in one company in one location. It's easy. But if same application is going to going to be implemented in 7 different sites in 3 cities, and I have to interact with all these site people and interact with other people. And then I found out that 2 site managers are saying, no, no, my requirement is different and his requirement is different, and I need to align their expectation. Then I should go for hybrid, because here I need to align the power, politics, conflicting requirement, multiple location, and do the coordination. So this is the way that I can use complexity model to define the project management for my project. When I do project management training courses, I use complexity assessment model or maybe NTCB model to guide companies that, okay, this is the model that you should use to go for the project implementation and see what type of project you are. So that's all about the content and the context of the project management. Now I'm going to talk about how you can use project management to grow your career. So keep one thing in your mind: your growth, your personal growth depends on organization growth. If your organization is not growing, you will not grow. Maybe you need to find another job. Number one. Number two, project management is growing. Why project management is growing? Because organizations needs to introduce new products. Organizations needs to engage their customers. If organizations does not need it to launch new products and services, then they are good to go with operations. So let's talk about a very basic example. When in a manufacturing environment, when they introduce a new model of a car, the new model or the next model comes in after 8 years. So traditionally, the product life cycles were longer. Now, if you look at the car models, every fourth year, it means 50%, it's half. So now every fourth year we have a new model, and within those 4 years, every year or every second year, we have facelifts. So every second year or every year, we are introducing the facelift of the same model. It means now we cannot depend on one product which will run for 5 or 10 years. Let's take an example of mobile phone. Every year we are getting new features in the mobile phone. Let's talk about the glasses. Interestingly, I got to know that every year a new model of glasses are coming. So this year I bought my new running shoes, because and it says this is a new model of shoes, and every year I have to buy a new shoes if I want to show myself that I am athlete and doing these things. So if a company needs to introduce something new every year, it means they cannot focus on running the operations alone. They also need people who understand the product, who can execute the project, and who can convert that project into profitability for an organization. So right now, one of the studies suggests that the organizations which are considered typically operational organization, their workforce, typically their current workforce is based on 70 to 80% operational resources and 20% project management resources. And within next 3 to 5 years, this trend is going to change, because operational resources will be replaced by AI, will be replaced by IoT, will be replaced by data sciences and big data. But we need more project management resources, because organizations will be competing based on innovation. There will be always new competitor coming in, and competitors will be coming in from nowhere right now. So you can see Uber, you can see Airbnb, and you can see a lot of things. Interestingly, recently I got to know that a new player comes in, software licensing. Typically, when you go to buy a software license, you go for some IT company, you go for some software house who sells you software license. And there are lots of companies who are earning good money from just selling these softwares. You know what? Etisalat is coming up. They are saying that we will give you broadband line, and with that broadband line, I will give you Microsoft licenses at that discounted rate. So tell me, all those software companies who were basically basing their future, who thought that they will earn X amount based on annual, renewal of licenses, they are in trouble now, because a new player, which never was their competitor, is now their competitor. So they have to think something new. So in this highly uncertain environment, either you are going to be disrupted by someone, or you need to use disruption, use uncertainty for you. So there is a high growth for project manager, there is a high need of project manager, but you need to understand how you go for it. So when I do, or when we do project management training, the typical problem with the other training providers are, they teach you project management and they say these are 1,000 questions, 2,000 questions, and you go for it. What we do and what I suggest is, once you are understanding the course, don't understand the theory and the PMBOK definition, try to map these concepts, try to map these tools and techniques in your environment. So that is why when Kazi book me, and when we do project management courses, what we do is we say, bring your project and we will solve your project with project management. So me and my participant work together and we identify the project need, and then we select the project management methodology for the project, and we do projects. So typically, let's suppose if we have 20 participants or 25 participants in a class, so we make 4 to 5 groups, and every group select a project which they are doing right now or they want to do. And within 4 to 5 days, whatever the course we are selling or we're doing, so we do 5 projects with the team, 5 different projects in one go, and from charter or from timeline to end lesson learned. So that's how they understand the project management. So they don't understand the definitions of project management, they live the project management with their project. So this is what we do, number one. Number two, when you go for PMP exam, PMP exam is mixture of two things. PMP exam is mixture of case study based questions and knowledge questions. When I say knowledge questions means, they want to check your understanding that you have the right definition or not. So what we have done is we have developed specialized 180 questions, which actually help you to understand the book, which actually help you to understand the content of the book. So this is the knowledge concept. So you need to understand the content. The second thing is case study course questions. So what we have done is, me and Kazi worked hard and we developed 5 different case studies, and we have identified the questions based on those case studies. So let's suppose if your company is going for construction, or your company is going for digital transformation, or your company is going for implementing a technology. So in that environment, how do you deal customers, how do you manage changes, how do you plan the timeline? So you need to understand what would you do in any specific situation. So in what is your result in any situation should be aligned with the PMI. So when PMI test you, they gave you 4 options, and in those 4 options you will stuck with 2, because these 2 are wrong, but these 2, and you have to give the answer not from your mind but from the alignment of PMI concept. So if you can answer the question from the PMI alignment, then you can ace the exam. So basically, you don't need to attempt and practice thousands of questions. You need to attempt 2 set of questions or 2 types of questions: knowledge questions and case study questions. So these knowledge questions and case study questions will help you to pass your exam. This will help you to go for the exam. And as I said, currently, PMI is not testing you against initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, controlling, and closing. Now they are testing you actually how you understand the strategy, how you use the technical part, process part of project management in terms of risk, a timeline, methodology, and how you lead the project based on given situations. So these are the 3 things. So technically, if I have to sum up, I would say previously project management PMP certification was based on project management concepts. They were based on how well you understand project management. Now, from 2nd January 2021, PMP exam is based on project manager ability. So how you run the project, how you understand the environment. That is why PMI exam domains are talent triangle domains. Previously, they are PMBOK domains: initiation, planning, execution, controlling, closing. Now the exam domains are leadership, process, business. These are part of project manager talent triangle. So PMI is shifting or shifted their mindset from project management to project manager capability or competency. So if you have to test or give a test of your competency, then you need to understand the case studies and environment and see which project management is required, how much project management is required, and does this project needs project management or not. So I'm going to give you my last three questions, and I would say please write down, and these questions will help you to change your project management career, or help you to grow in your project. Just three questions. So question number one is, whenever you got an initiative in your organization, you have to see that is it a project or not. Maybe the initiative or the endeavor the company gave you, you are thinking when you want to deliver, you are thinking from the perspective of time. No, you need to see, is this a project, is this a program, is this a operational activity, or is this a project activity. So first challenge is whenever you got an initiative, whenever you got an assignment, you need to understand what it is it a project or not. Number one. Number two question. So the first question is it a project? Number two question is, do we need project management? And this is the killing question. People say, I said, what do you mean? If it is a project, then I need project management. I say, no, there is a possibility that you say by definition it is a project, but for an organization like us, we don't want to implement project management in this project. Maybe I need to use a simple resource and say do it as an operational activity, or maybe say you do it as a program. So do we need project management for that initiative? So let's suppose if your company is going for merger and acquisition, if your company is going for digital transformation, if your company is going for launching a new product, if your company is going for setting up a new business in environment, then it's not a project, although it's time bound, although it has a scope, but it's not a project, it's a program. So you need to see, do we need project management or not? So this is the second question. And third and final question, which is actually a game changer in this environment: how much project management is required? Because, and you would say, sir, what do you mean by how much project management is required? Project management is project management. So do I need to do less project management? And the answer is yes. For some projects, you need to do more project management, you need to implement a different type of project management, and for some project you need to do less project management or different type of project management. So if you understand these questions practically, then you will be able to grow your organization, you will be able to grow yourself, and you will be able to get the value or fruits of project management. So that's all from my side, and I hope I gave you a very different picture of project management, and not from the content perspective, but from the context perspective. I did not talk about traditional number of questions and everything, but this is how you see the environment and you work on these things. Just to give you a perspective, last year we have trained around 200 plus participants, and 120 participants attempted the PMP, and out of 120, 116 passed PMP in their first attempt, and remaining 4 passed their PMP in second attempt. So that's how we helped it. And again, till now, already 2 participants are all past PMP. So my point, my concern, my suggestion is, don't just think about PMP, think about how you are going to implement that concept in your organization. Thank you. Now it's time for questions. And that is why there is no dot here. You need to build your dots and connect your dots yourself. And those who know the 9 dot formula or 9 dot question, they understand why the whole presentation was connecting the dots. Thank you. So Kazi, over to you.
Um, Thank you so much, Asad. I would quickly jump to the floor. And do we have any questions? You can unmute your mic and you can post a question.
Uh, I have a question.
Yes, Nafil.
Okay. Thank you for enlightening us and about the new concepts and what are going to. So now, after going through this session, I'm a bit concerned that should I still because when we discussed about project management and its implications, we have to understand the approaches, whether to take the agile approach or the traditional approach. So if I if I see the work I do, so I think based on that, I have some uncertainties in my objectives. So based on that, I am thinking to implement the agile mindset in my organization, right? So
Mhm.
should I still go for a PMP, or should I go for a PMI ACP?
Okay. You see, first of all, whenever it comes to certification, I have a different advice. My advice is look for the sellable part, right? The sellable part is PMP. Now I'm talking about business. I'm not talking about the project management. Uh, Understand this thing first, and then you will get your answer. PMI was established in 1969. PMI launched its PMP in 1984. PMI launched its PMBOK in 1996. And, in 2009, PMI had 250,000 PMPs worldwide. Scrum Alliance actually, sat together in 2001. They started their certification, which is actually not a certification. It was 2-day course, and they are calling it a certification. And they started until 2009. They also had more than 250,000 certified people, certified Scrum Master or Product Owner. And then somebody, sue them that this is not a certification. You are giving them attendance certificate as a certification, and they started a certification which says Certified Scrum Master or Certified Product Owner, which is actually to me is not certification still. It's like you attend a course and they will give you 1 hour 35 questions to pass and move on. But the point is it's all about business war. And then right now, if you look at the number of PMPs, we have 1 million PMPs from 1984 till now. And there are 1.2 million agile professionals which are certified agile professional. So the PMI wanted to tackle this thing. PMI says the content or the concept the agile people are giving is more or less 1 day and a half, 1.5 day content. So what they did is they said, you are a project manager. You don't want to say that I am a traditional project manager or I am an agile project manager. You are a project manager. And as I said, you need to select which project management is best for you. So that is why now PMP exam contains 50% agile concept. So the new PMP has 50% agile concept, which will help you to understand and pass and showcase that you are a project manager and you can do any project, be it a traditional project, be it an agile project, or be it a hybrid project. So if I see the market value, if I see which certifications are sellable in the market, then I must say, even if your organization is going for agile mindset, it's a separate if, but if your organization is going for an agile mindset, go for PMP, because now PMP contains both the concept, as I said, traditional concepts and agile concept, and do it. So, and if you need, you can go for further concept wise agile knowledge. But if you are in an organization where it is mandatory to have PMI ACP, where it is mandatory to have certified Scrum Master, and they are giving you, salary increment, then you can go for certification for others. But I would say the first stepping stone in your career, in your CV, in the current market or the trend of the market is to go for the PMP certification. And PMI has covered that part where people were confused that, my company is going for agile. Should I go for PMP or not PMI? I said, no, PMP has agile too. Or you can say now as a project manager, you can manage a project, either it's an agile or either it's a traditional, because PMP is now testing your both the knowledges with your competencies. So I believe I gave your answer.
Thank you, Asad. We have a question posted in chat by Asmal Asmawi. She's saying that the PMP certification exam will be as previous one and number of questions also change. So what are the exact changes in the previous and current PMP exam? If we can have a short
Yeah,
answer
sure.
that, what are the exact changes?
So see, if I see the on change from, as I said, and as you see what I'm doing in the whole session is I'm giving you content and context. So if I talk about the content here, previously there were 200 questions. Now we have 180 questions. Previously there was 5 domains. Now we have 3 domains. Previously it was 98% multiple choice questions. Now we have multiple choice question, drag and drop questions, these kind of multiple set of questions. Previously, when you go for the exam, you have 4 hours and you can go back and choose and update and do whatever you do. Now you have 2 sections. Once you complete one section and it's done, then you cannot go back to the previous section and update the questions. So this is the technical content change. Final thing is, previously the course or the paper was based on traditional concept. Now it also includes agile questions also. So it's all about content. If you ask me the context of PMP, now PMI is more focusing on the competencies of a project manager. Previously, the PMBOK or the paper was concerned about the understanding of project management concepts, understanding of PMBOK and related books. Now it's all about how you implement project management in any given scenario and what is your competency. That is why if you look at the PMI book, you see previously it was based on 5 process groups: initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, controlling, and closing. Now it is based on talent triangle of project managers, which is leadership, business, and process and technical. So that's how it works. So this is the difference.
Okay, thanks a lot. We have a question by Abdullah Ali, that what are the main domains and weight for the new PMP exam? Abdullah, if you can unmute yourself and you can explain your question, please. Abdullah, if you can unmute yourself. Um, Asad, he has asked, what are the main domains and weight for the new PMP exam?
So domains are basically, as I told you, these are three domains: technical domain, which is referred as process, and business and strategy domain, and leadership domain. So these are the three domains.
Next question is, if I pass the PMP exam, would I be able to get a PMP trainer? And what are the new requirements to be an authorized trainer from PMI? I think it's a very
Ah,
mostly asked question people are asking, because PMI has introduced and launched some new requirements for the trainers and for the training companies as well. So if you can briefly shed a light on this.
so first of all, previously,
Sorry,
PM
Asad, before you answer this question, if you can stop the screen sharing so that we can all see each other. And during you will answer, I will take some screenshots for our social media. People can on their videos. So if you can stop the screen sharing and then you can answer this
I
question.
need to see how I'm going to do that. What options I should click so that I stop what? Yeah, stop sharing. Done.
Okay, great. Yeah.
So the question regarding the PMI certified trainer, previously PMI was certifying the organizations and they were calling it as a registered education provider. Worldwide, there were around, I think, 5,000 companies who were registered education provider, but PMI did not make it mandatory that whoever is teaching or conducting a PMP course should be a registered education provider. This year, in fact, the last year, which is going to be impacted now, PMI introduced a new model, which is authorized training partner or ATP, in which they are authorizing the PMP trainer and the company. And, they are giving them their own course material, plus, they are asking them to give, annual fee and all things so that, they can make sure that they are earning more money from the ATP model. So anybody who wants to go for to become an ATP, what they need to do is they need to tell them that your organization is providing training since last 3 years, and then you have to pay them every year the registration fees, which varies based on the region versus region. And third thing is they will conduct a training to you, and then whenever you will conduct a training, every participant of you will get a e-copy of new material which you have to pay on your participant behalf. So this is how you can become the PMI ATP trainer or PMI certified trainer. But still, it's not mandatory to become an ATP to give a training to PMP. It's up to you. And there are companies who are reluctant that we will give training only to those who are ATP, or there are says that we can go for the a trainer who can provide us the quality training. If you become an ATP, then you are only liable to teach the content which PMI provides. But if you are not an ATP, then you can develop your own material based on your experience into it. So that's how the whole difference is.
Okay, great. We have one more question. Before that, I have just pasted a link of the feedback form in the chat window. So please click that link. And meantime, Asad is answering the questions. Then you can fill the feedback form, because we are moving towards the closure of the program with the last two questions. So meantime, we have these last two questions. Please fill in the feedback form. Asad mentioned, and he left the audience with some thought-provoking ideas of the questions he posted as well. So we will also send those questions in the thank you email. So please click this. It is a link, and you can fill in the feedback form. I will read the question from Hamza Ali. He's coming from the marketing perspective. Asad, he's saying we need help with implementing Agile in marketing. What do you recommend? Is PMP the right way ahead, or shall we adopt something else when it comes to marketing and project management?
Okay, so you see what kind of projects you are implementing in Agile. Sorry, what kind of projects you are implementing in marketing. So if your project is to build brochures, build commercials, you can use Agile or traditional both. If your project is to go for some innovative AI based stuff and see how it works, then you can look into it from the Agile perspective. So my recommendation is, as I said earlier too, see PMP certification as the core need of your career growth, and then and implement project management based on your project need. So these are the two things you need to understand. Your project may be done through traditional project management, may be done through agile project management, may be done through hybrid project management. So this is the project need for the project management need for the project. But for your growth, your learning cycle, your market value, you need to go for PMP. And as I said, now PMP contains the content of both traditional project management and agile project management. So if you have done PMP, you can still implement agile. And even if you did not done a PMP, you can still do for agile. So agile, so implementing agile. So let's suppose if you are PMP, who is stopping you to implement agile? Nobody is stopping you to implement agile, right? So keep two things separate. One is your brand value. Your brand value is PMP certified project manager. One is which project management lifecycle you want to implement. Use whatever you want to use.
Thank you
Yes,
so much,
traditional
Asad.
means waterfall. So Amna traditional has multiple name. Traditional has waterfall, traditional, plan driven, scope based.
Okay, great. I can see one participant, Yusuf. He has turned on the video, and I can see him driving, or maybe he is just in the car parked somewhere. So I can see a really a level of thirst when it comes to the project management and PMP. Thank you, Yusuf, for joining us, and we will send you the recording. If we can all on our videos so that we can wave and post any questions if you have on the chat window. We scheduled till 11 a.m. It's almost 10 minutes over the time. So please open your videos, wave your hand. You can turn on your mic one by one. You can say if you want to have a very brief line, and then we will take a lead. And if there is any question, then please pose the question. So one, two, three, four. We have only 4 people on the video. Okay, great. I think my mic is on. It means people are listening to me. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I will also ask my colleague Hassan if he can quickly take some screenshots. Okay. Great. Asad, I think there are no more questions. What would you say the last 1 or 2 things before we say a goodbye to all of our participants?
So my last.
Is there any reference material we can send them along with the recording of the program? Please answer
Yeah,
this. And one last line.
Okay, so first, last line. See, today everybody is hit by uncertainty, and it's your chance to use uncertainty for your growth, right? So don't fear, don't get fear, don't get scared with uncertainty. Use uncertainty to design your organization and design your career. And project management is a very exciting career, and it will help you to grow in a fast-paced way. And generally, we look for shortcut. There's a very book called Smart Cut. If you want to read it, go read it. So project management and program management is a smart cut to become a CEO in a fast forward way. So that is your, ultimate tagline that you can look for it.
Thank you very much, Asad. Thanks to all of the participants for joining us. And please, again, I would request fill the feedback forms. Let us know which other seminars you would like to attend in the feedback form. And let us know if you are planning for a PMP exam. We are soon going to launch 2 courses with Asad. One is the PMP with the new program methodology, which will be a 5-day course. And the other program will be project management with Agile methodology. So it will give you a blend of project management and Agile. It will be a 2-day program with the project management case study. Thank you, all of you. I highly appreciate your time and hope to see you soon once again. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.